Hi, welcome to Music Theory and Ear Training at Prime Musicals. I'm Solo Keys, your delighted coach. And so, in this lesson today, we're going to be talking about pitch recognition. Pitch recognition, that's how to hear tones or sounds and voice them the way you hear them as they are in the correct pitch or frequency. So, let's jump right into the class. Our lesson today is focused on pitch recognition. Pitch recognition. And what's a pitch? Pitch is that musical term that is used to describe the frequency of a sound that tells us if it is higher or lower in its perception, as in how we perceive it. So there are notes that we'll talk about high or low. Now we're not referring to volume as per volume. We're referring to the quality of the sound produced by each note that we play or that we sing. And so that quality is what we refer to as pitch. Now, when we use the term note, note means that the pitch is defined, meaning is defined means that we can name it, we can identify it. Now, pitch has to do with frequency in general, and of course, there are instruments that may not have defined pitches. Like you cannot say this is do or re in the sound that it produces, but it's frequency anyway, because in physics, as long as an instrument something undergoes vibration, sound comes out, sound is produced, and that sound is defined by frequencies, or a particular frequency or group of frequencies that it produces at the time. But pitch in this our context is referring to the perceived frequency of a sound that describes if it's high or low in how we perceive it. So using the keyboard as our reference now, when we're going up in the right direction, you notice that the sound or the pitches they grow higher. So that thinness in the sound, that lightness. So the pitches here are higher. In a longer keyboard, there are more notes, or more keys. So the pitches or the notes are higher in their pitch. But when you're going towards the left or down the keyboard, you see it gets deeper or lower, depending on the term you want to use. It gets lower or deeper. So the frequencies are lower. So that's that about it. When it comes to pitch recognition, whether as a singer or as an instrumentalist, you have to know how to hear a note or a sound and voice out that same sound in its corresponding pitch. So what I mean is this. This is what we call our middle C. If you remember our teaching on the names of the keys. So this is C. This is note C. Now, this note has its own characteristic frequency or pitch, and you have to be able to voice it just the way you hear it. So it goes like this. So for some people, this might be a walkover because naturally you have a good ear to recognize pitch as you hear them. But some people don't have this ability naturally, so they have to work their way through it. So what you notice is that my voice and the sound coming from the keyboard are one, what we call unison. So while my voice will have its own different time, but has sound quality and from the keyboard, different from the keyboards, but our pitch frequency, the notes sound the same, like they are one, even though coming from two different sources. Now, this same C, if we go down to the C that is lower, the C note, remember when you see these two black keys, the first white key there is called C. Now, this is another C. It's the same C. Now, hear this. Sorry. So you notice that they are both sounding as though it's just one note playing, although you can perceive that there are two dimensions, which is the higher pitch and the lower pitch, but they are the same note, which is C and C. But as a singer or as an instrumentalist who is trying to train his ear, you should be able to differentiate between this particular C of this frequency or of this pitch and the lower C. Lower C, so the pitch is lower although it's the same note. When we take it up, this is hard for me because it's not doesn't fall within my vocal range. So pitch recognition tells us that you have to be able to voice out the note on its corresponding pitch. So let's go out from our C note and let's play around with some other notes now at random. So how you know that you're getting it is that your brain will interpret to you that there is no difference between what you're voicing out and what you're saying. You're going to sound so much in sync, in that unison sync with the sound coming out from the keyboard. So if you have a piano app, you can do this exercise using your piano app. Just press any random note and try to voice it out on that same pitch. So like for example, like we explained using the C note, let me use this F. So if I'm pressing this F on my keyboard, but what I'm voicing is so what I'm voicing out is a lower F, but what I'm playing is the upper F from the lower F, that's higher octave. But what you want to do is to sound out or voice out what you're playing on the keyboard. Different from the lower F or the higher one. I can't do that. So just try it out. Press any random note on your keyboard and try to voice it out. So that brings us to the end of our pitch recognition class and exercise as well. So do it and watch yourself.